David been a wrestler since he was 4 years old, and some big passion of his. Not always the best wrestler, but he always gave it his all.
There's nothing really that like pushed me into wrestling. I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it since I've been 4.
He was for his senior year. He really had a goal that he wanted to make it to state, and he was doing private lessons and extra stuff to try to get to that level to make it there. We just really are a close family. They've always been close, my kids, and actually the day of the accident, we had 14 tickets bought for Supercross, and everyone was meeting at my house. We were going to eat and then go to Supercross. So that day, we're planning the day and everything. I have to go pay my phone bill. So I go pay the phone bill and I come back, David's car's gone. And I was like, man, where'd he go already? Because it was kind of early still. And as I was getting out of the car, I heard a bunch of sirens and like lots of sirens. I was like, man, something bad is happening. Something really bad. So I go in the house and I ask my husband and one of my nephew and his wife was there. And I was like, where'd David go? And I said, he went to go pick his girlfriend up. I was like, well, that's kind of early, but okay. So then I told him about the sirens and everything I heard. And I was like, he's going to be a while because I know it's a traffic jam, because you can just tell by that many sirens there's something going on bad. And I got nervous and I called David. He didn't answer. So I called him again and he didn't answer. About 20 minutes goes by and my phone rings. It was a man's voice and he said, this is Illinois State Trooper, I don't remember his name. And he asked me if I owned a 2004 Mustang. And I was like, yeah. And he said, well, there's been an accident. And when he said there was an accident, I lost it, because I know that them sirens I heard was my son. And I just started screaming, no, 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 no. It's not David. No, it's not. So I ran out the door and my husband's like, what's going on? I said, David's been in an accident. And I didn't even tell him it. I just screamed it and then ran out the door, and my nephew and my husband got in the truck and followed me. I start driving, and the whole time I'm just yelling, Jesus, 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 no. Please, Jesus, I plead the blood of Jesus over my son, please. And I get to the ramp to get on 203 to 270. I get on that ramp. Traffic's backed up. You can't even get up the ramp. So I parked. I just put the car in park, and I got out, and I just started running, and I just ran to the top of the ramp. And when I got to the highway, like the top of the highway where you could see down the embankment, I seen his car. And I just lost it. I don't even know. I just felt like I wasn't even there anymore. And I just lost it because the car was so bad. I ran to the ambulance and I opened the back door, and I know it was wrong. And I thank God that I wasn't there on the scene before the ambulance, because I would have tried to pull him out. I would have tried to do something. And I know now that could have changed his whole outcome. It could have changed everything. And then they were like, we got to go. We got to get him to the hospital. And my husband pulled me back, and I got in the truck with him, and my nephew got in my car. We head to SLU Hospital. He was in the emergency room. We were all there for hours, it seemed like. I didn't know anything. We didn't know if he was alive, dead. We didn't know anything. And I stood there, and finally they came out. The doctors said that his worst of his injuries was his brain. And of course we didn't know what that really meant at the time. But the brain injury had a C1, C2 fracture, a fractured scapula, broken ribs, which punctured into his right lung. With that being said, he probably would never live a normal life. He was in the ICU another week and a half. and he started opening his eyes. He started opening his eyes and like looking around. In the last week in ICU, he did start moving his right hand and tapping his foot a little bit. At that time, I was talking to him, like asking them questions about where are we gonna, like, am I gonna take him home and care for him? You know, what are we gonna do? You know, he was, because they were already wanting to get him out of ICU because he really didn't need to be there. He wasn't on the ventilator anymore. He was on the, just oxygen on the trach to help his levels stay up or whatever. But they were ready to move him out, and I was scared to death to leave the ICU. One of the nurses mentioned Rankin Jordan. And I was like, well, it's Rankin Jordan. And she's like, I would, if he was my son, I would get him to Rankin Jordan. So that night I Googled Rankin Jordan and read all the stories about Rankin Jordan. And I called the next morning, and I think it was a Saturday. And somebody answered still, and they took my information, and I got a call back on Monday. And I just felt so happy about it and positive from what I read. And then I just started asking more people, have you heard of Rankin Jordan? And everybody that had heard of Rankin Jordan had so many positive things to say. But the day we got to Rankin Jordan, coming in the front door, and the minute we opened the front door, we looked at each other. We had tears in our eyes just by the appearance of Rankin Jordan. We had been in this little room for a week and a half, not the ICU, but the little room, and it was literally like a dungeon. It felt like it was gloomy. I was sleeping basically on the floor, and we come here, and I just felt a sense of relief and positivity, and I just felt in my spirit, I felt this is a great place. This is a great place, and we're gonna have nothing but a positive thing. And I told him, I was like, I feel like we're Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory. Like you walk in and you're like, oh my gosh, it's just beautiful. And we get to the room and we're waiting for David to arrive by ambulance, and he gets there. I mean, within the first 3 hours of us being here and David getting there, everybody was just like on him, figuring out everything and like getting him set. And it just was, I don't even know words. It just was overwhelming. It was, in a good way, overwhelming. And the care that you just seen from everybody, and not just for David, it was for us. I mean, we had the social workers and everybody just coming and asking what we need and how they can help us. And I mean, we've been through a month of basically hell, and we came here and it was just like everything was like happy. And even though David had a lot of fighting to go still, nobody ever said anything negative. Like there was no, even though we could know like bad things can happen, but if David had a setback of anything, it was like, okay, now we're going to deal with this. We're going to, you know, just keep going forward. Therapy started out slow, but as he was doing, they still did stuff with him every day. And as he did a little bit more, it was just like, I go back and look at my pictures and my videos, and I'm like, at that time I thought it was taking forever, but really, in reality, David came a long way in a short period of time. I remember the first day they put him in the light gate. It's like a harness, like they put it around his, you know, his waist, and it holds him up, and then they push him, and then he's supposed to walk with it. Well, he couldn't do that. So it took like 4 people to do that. He had one person on each leg, and then you have someone pushing and directing. And I looked at that and I thought, you know what? I think he's gonna walk again. I said, these therapists, they believe he's gonna walk again. They believe it. And they're gonna push him until he's ready to work for himself.
Honestly, just what kept me going is still being alive, because I know there's a big chance that I was probably gonna die. So I had to be happy that I was alive, and I just had to keep flying, go. Whatever I think my peak is, go past it.
If we did not come to Rankin, Jordan, I really believe David wouldn't be as far as he is. They have all the tools here that they need to get kids to where they are. And one thing that was always said to me, that David will hit a plateau. There'll be a plateau. Every brain injury will hit a plateau. With David, he still hasn't hit his plateau. And even with outpatient, he's still progressing. 3 days a week we come, he does his therapy, he's still progressing. And I just feel that without Rankin Jordan, we wouldn't have that. We wouldn't have that.
Don't ever think you've hit a plateau. You haven't hit a plateau. It's just a stop on your trip. That's all it is. It's a little break for a minute, and then you're going to keep going.
So to the families or the caregivers that are coming to Rankin Jordan, when you first get here, you're going to feel the love from everyone. You're going to feel it. It's not just about the smartest doctors, and it's not about medications, and it's not just about all the technical things. There has to be a personal connection. There has to be people that actually care about their job and care about these kids to get to where they are. When you're around people that are positive, and never, even when you have a bad day, they come in and build you up, or say something nice, or say, hey, you need to take a break for a minute. If you donate to Rankin Jordan for anything, just know it's going to something good. And the families here, you're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have days where you think, man, I can't believe I'm going through this. I can't believe my kid's going through this, or your grandkid, or however your relationship is. But you just gotta keep the hope that there's a plan for some reason. You're here, you were sent here for a reason, and the therapists and the doctors and nurses, everyone here is going to get your child to the best of their ability. And I know everybody's on a different level, everybody has a different case, but they're going to do their best they can.
I'm thankful for everyone that is a part of Rankin Jordan, honestly. I love everyone here. But it's weird, it's not a connection I didn't think I'd ever get with anybody.